Hey everyone, welcome back to Glass Seats. This is Viddy.
My name is Mrinal, and on this episode, we are discussing the Chicago Blackhawks and the return of Patrick Kane.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it fitting that it's Detroit too? Detroit v. Chicago?
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose because it was also the Chris Chelios retirement night.
That's right.
So, team that Chelios played for, the two teams Chelios played for, Chicago and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So, it all kind of lines up, and I think that's what we wanted to discuss. It was like a fairy tale return.
Yeah, huge night in hockey. And of course, in fitting NHL fashion, they did not put it on their network.
Was it not a national game?
No.
I just assumed it was.
No, they butchered that.
Wow.
Yeah. Everyone was mad about it in the comments because obviously the NHL went crazy with the highlights. It was a great game. We'll discuss it in this episode. But yeah, no, they didn't post it or they didn't stream it on their national network.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I just assumed it's Chicago, big game. Yeah. Chicago's been in like how many Winter Classics?
Yeah. All of them.
Pretty much. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Like I would have just assumed that, it's a Chicago game, big game, and it's going to be on a... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
side tangent. I found out that the Kraken Vegas one was the lowest viewed Winter Classic of all time. So that's probably why they put Chicago back in it.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
The Kraken Vegas one was so good.
I love that one. That was one of my favorite ones ever. So.
The West Coast needs some love, guys.
Yeah. Come on.
There's other big markets besides Chicago.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other rant.
Yeah. We'll save that for later.
Yeah, Patrick Kane returns to Chicago. Obviously, he played there for many, many years, won 3 cups, all of that. A huge resume. He's in Detroit now. Patrick Kane leaving Chicago at last year's trade deadline, almost a year ago from today. Going to New York and then signing with Detroit in the offseason. Or it was actually during the season.
I think it was during the season, yeah.
Yeah, a little late. Why was this such a big deal? One, he comes back with Alex DeBrincat.
Oh, yeah, that's
who
right.
is also a former Blackhawk, and the two of them played on a line together in Chicago and are now playing on a line together in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, the first time that he shares the ice with Connor Bedard.
Yes, you're right.
Because Bedard was drafted this year, so didn't play with Patrick Kane ever.
Yeah.
So they had some fun interactions that we'll get to. But the biggest thing is Patrick Kane assists on the game-tying goal to send the game to overtime and then scores the overtime winner.
Yeah.
The goal that he assisted on was scored by Alex DeBrincat, and the goal that he scored to win the game was assisted by Alex DeBrincat. So classic Chicago pairing that played for the other team last night.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first games where Blackhawks fans were almost happy to lose. I mean, granted, yes, they are tanking, but spectacular fashion to lose, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to lose that game, that's how you want to lose it, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter which team you're rooting for that game. I feel like you got your money's worth. So, fantastic game to be at.
Also, the most fascinating thing I saw was the interactions between Bedard and Kane. I love when you're seeing like two generations of hockey players, meet and like the clash they had. So Bedard threw a big hit on Patrick Kane.
A lot of people were saying it was dirty too, elbow up and everything.
It was a little grindy.
Yeah.
It was if you guys haven't seen the clip, it was along the Detroit or Chicago bench. I forgot which bench, but one of the benches, and he kind of just almost shoves him into the bench, but it's like, like two continents just sliding against each other. It's a little grindy of a hit.
Earthquake hit,
you know, so no sticks, no elbows hit any faces or heads, but it was close.
It was more of a, what do you call it? Like a sending a message type of hit.
It was, it was just
this is my team now type of hit.
It was a little squish. Just a little squish by.
Yeah. You know, when you like see your brother on the ice and just give him a little shove, like the Kachuk brothers. They kind of just like, they push each other's buttons a little bit.
I think the Kachucks do a little bit more than push buttons.
Okay, well, to each other.
Have you seen those off ice or off season training videos of them doing face offs?
No,
they're like practically tackling each other on face offs.
No, I didn't see those. Okay, so they've got a little bit more aggression in them, but
But yeah, and Patrick Kane in the post game interview had a sarcastic quote for the interviewer saying he referring to Connor Bedard. He's lucky he had a bubble on or I was going after him.
Yeah.
So Connor Bedard has the full face shield on for a recent injury. But it was a little fun to see, what kind of legacy do you think Patrick Kane is going to leave? He's in the twilight of his career and, coming back to Chicago. what do you think he means to that team?
To Chicago.
To Chicago, yeah.
Everything. Everything. I mean, we could go as far as the amount of. I actually went back and watched all the heartbreaking, no pun intended, the heartbreaking, series enders he had. He eliminated Philly, or he got the cup clinching goal in overtime against Philly.
Oh yeah, Philly's still mad.
Yeah, as they should be. He took out the Kings in 2013 with that heartbreaker. Sally?
A couple times, I think 13 and 15, right?
Oh, okay, it might have been both.
I remember for a while there, the Kings and Blackhawks were just trading cups.
Yeah, exactly. And it was 2013. It was the double overtime game 5 or 6 or something in Chicago, and that's where we got the celebration.
And then the Kings got them back next year.
Yeah,
in 2014.
Yeah, wow, crazy era. We really took that for granted. But
we take it for granted because we cheer for the third forgotten team.
Yeah, that's right.
The San Jose Sharks, who lost to both those teams a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, God. But yeah, it was he means everything, because without Patrick Kane, you don't have cups. You don't have 3 and 6. You just don't. And Jonathan Toews obviously did his thing too, and those were two, in my opinion, the two most integral parts of that dynasty. But man, Patrick Kane is he's going to. I think he's going to the rafters eventually.
Yeah, it was kind of fitting to have his return be on a retirement night.
Yeah,
so Chris Chelios' number 7 goes to the rafters.
I think he referred to that in a speech too.
In Chelios' speech?
Yeah, I think Chelios said, he shouted out Patrick Kane. He's like, one day you're going to be here too, or something along those lines.
I mean, he's got 3 cups. I think, isn't he the highest scoring or close to the highest scoring American NHL player?
Something like that. I mean, there is debate for the GOAT American born player in the NHL. I mean, he's up there. He's up there.
He's in that conversation.
Yeah. So yeah, he means everything to Chicago.
Yeah. The fact that number 7 goes up, and there's a possibility that Chicago could have 2 number 7s, because that dynasty included Brent Seabrook.
Oh, yeah.
I think 88 and 19 for sure are going to be retired.
Yes.
And then there's a debate to be made for number 2, Duncan Keith, and number 7, Brent Seabrook as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that Blackhawks Cup squad was, as many hearts as they broke, they were elite, and I feel like their flowers should be given. And yeah, it is, at the end of the day, though, it is still cool to see it kind of pass on to Bedard's team. This is Bedard's team now.
Yes.
So I'm kind of glad in a weird way, he threw that hit, because he's kind of showing that, right now, obviously, he's a rookie. He is a rookie, but eventually this will become his team. And I very much see him either one day wearing an A or C on his chest.
Yeah. So. It's we had this feeling when McDavid came into the league, right? That one day this guy's going to lead this team and be the captain, and there wasn't really a legacy for the Oilers when he came in at the end of a long.
They had so many first overall picks too. So, and they just weren't panning out. This one felt different though.
For McDavid, the closest comparison was Wayne Gretzky, who retired in '99.
Crazy, insane.
Yeah. So, I think it's different for Chicago, who is just coming out of a dynasty era.
Yeah,
and you're already seeing the future ones, right?
Yeah.
So, teams like Buffalo and Ottawa, who have been rebuilding for so long and haven't had that, to see the crazy success Chicago has, that's, you can understand why a lot of teams hate them.
Yes.
But at the same time,
success is relative too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
what do you mean by that, actually?
They're at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, right now.
Oh, you're talking about before.
If you look at them as over since the lockout, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The start of the modern NHL is essentially the 04-05 lockout, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Since then, I think they were the first dynasty.
Yeah.
Right. Now we have the Penguins and the Tampa
Kings
Bay.
almost made a run for it.
Kings almost made a run.
Yeah.
I mean, if we count the Penguins, I feel like we should count the Kings, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay Lightning had a huge run as well, but it all started with that Chicago team.
Yeah. I think that, you're right. That was the first salary cap dynasty, I think.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
And
I'd say it is.
Yeah. It revolutionized the way I think teams assemble themselves. And I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of like the blueprint.
Yeah.
So,
I think post salary cap, which was implemented in the 04-05 lockout, right? I can't think of a team that did the split up our talent first, where they had Toews on one line, Kane on another for a lot of their careers.
Yeah.
And then they'd stack the power play.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't think of another team that did that first. And I don't know if they're officially credited with that, but whenever someone mentions that strategy, this is the team that I think of.
Yeah. And then rolling all four lines is just insane in the playoffs if you can do it.
We haven't even talked about the players they had in their bottom of their lineup at that point, like Dustin Bufflin and Marion Hossa.
That's crazy.
And all that stuff. That
was a wild team.
They had a wild team.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, Patrick Kane, really, really good celebration. Glad that he got the overtime winner. We'll say that was an abysmal play by Seth Jones because Bedard was wide open, empty net, and he decided to try to be the hero and got caught on the defense, and that led to the breakaway goal. Terrible play by Seth Jones. He's getting paid like $9 million something a year. So good luck with that contract, Blackhawks fans. But
that was a bad contract the day it was signed.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose to sign it, but I mean, if you're Seth Jones, I'm signing that.
All right, no one's questioning why Seth Jones signed it. Everyone is questioning who gave him this contract.
Yeah, not a great whatever. But yeah, it led to a pretty awesome moment, and I'm really looking forward to see how Bedard takes this Blackhawks team and makes it his own.
Absolutely. And what more Patrick Kane way to end it than on the breakaway?
Yeah. I mean, in a weird way, I'm almost rooting for the Wings this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool to see him do it again. I'm getting like Tom Brady vibes where he went to Tampa and won another one.
Oh, I mean, they could make the playoffs. I don't think Detroit's winning.
You don't know. Florida was supposed to get the floor wiped with them. And they went to the Cup Finals.
Yeah, but what's we could do a video on if Detroit makes it.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the standings. They're ahead of Tampa right now, so maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But if Detroit makes it, we'll do playoff previews. We can have this debate then. But I'm not sold on long-term Detroit.
Okay.
But we'll see. We
can agree to disagree.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys want to know more about Connor Bedard, the Blackhawks, and just the NHL in general, you can keep it tuned here to Glass Seats. Drop a like on this episode and subscribe for more. If you're listening to us on audio, if you could leave us a rating or a review, helps us grow the show. See you next episode.
Bye.